Hello and welcome to another breakdown for the MLB 2026 season, looking at the National League East this time. Starting out, we're going to have probably the teams that a lot of people I think are really excited for with the Braves. Looking at the Braves, obviously you have one of the best stars in the league with Ronald Acuna Jr. out there in right field. Drake Baldwin coming off of the NL Rookie of the Year. Proved himself to be a very good catcher. Matt Olson at first base, been their rock since coming over from the A's. Jurickson Profar from coming out from his PED suspension he came into last year. I don't really remember how good he was after coming back for the Braves. The Braves were pretty far out of it, and I don't think I really took much interest in the Braves last year. 80 games, 14. Yeah, okay. It's decent. Decent. They have him as DH right now. That's interesting. I guess you just don't. All right. I mean, it's fine. Austin Riley over at third base, I think coming off of a pretty big injury. I know that was one of the main arguments for why the Braves were so good or so bad last year was that they just had so many injuries. And I think that's half the story. So, but yes, they did have a ton of injuries. I know Austin Riley was one of them. I believe. See, Jurickson Profar being suspended 80 games didn't help. Was there another one? I don't remember. I know it was Spencer Strider was one of them. I believe Chris Sale went down for no, but I don't remember. Braves are an enigma to me. They were an enigma last year. So Austin Riley got Ozzy Albies over at second base. Michael Harris the second. In center, Eli White in left, which was where Jurickson Profar was playing. He's been on the team for a bit. Not been the greatest. I mean, he did hit 10 home runs in 105 games. I guess is not nothing. Is this the guy they have starting out in left? I guess they don't really have else. Okay. Mauricio Dubon to play short because they traded away Arcia. I was like, Dubon played for the Astros last year. It was not great. So, kind of some weakness in this lineup. I was just looking at this MLB thing or whatever, and it has with the Royals expected to start the left-handed Reagans. Oh, okay. Did they sign Yastrzemski? I don't remember that. They're saying because that they're starting off against that, then Yastrzemski will probably be off the bench season opener. So most likely he'll be out in left field over Eli White. I forgot they did sign him. Yeah, I mean they're kind of playing off of opening day. I was trying to look in general, what's gonna be there. This lineup's pretty good. Guys coming off of injuries could be a bit of a concern. But overall, Matt Olson was good for them last year. Drake Baldwin was, Rookie of the Year, really good for them. Ronald Acuna Jr., another year away from the ACL tear. Always a good thing, especially for him. I don't know how much he'll run necessarily. I don't think we'll ever see him have a 70 steal season again. But he's still going to be probably the best hitter that they have, and he's a star for a reason. And since shortstop's probably going to be a weak spot for them, if Dubon can at least hold it down, I guess that'll be good. See what they can figure out placement-wise. Don't know what the bench looks like or anything like that. The fact is that Dubon is probably their best outlet at short. It tells me that they're pretty weak in that position. Outfield, kind of weak outside of Cunha. I think Yastrzemski is not really going to cut it, I think, but maybe it'd be good enough. Comes down to is that their pitching needs to kick it in gear too. You got Chris Sale out in left field as the ace, not left field. He's left-handed pitcher. Going to be there. I know they extended him for one more year, and I believe they had a mutual option for another year after that. So that's pretty good for them. I know Sale's getting a little older, but he has been really good for them, so I can't say that. Spencer Strider, I know, is coming off of a pretty big injury as well. I mean, we saw how good he was back in 22, 23. He was really good. Stuff like that. He just needs to find that form again. I don't know. Again, I think another manager role, so maybe this will change things. Ronaldo Lopez. Why do I know that name? No, I feel like I should know that name a bit more. Pitched one game for the Atlanta last. He's been with. He had a 199. He must have been coming off an injury. Because I'm looking at his 2024 and it's really good. He had just under 2 in 25 starts. That's pretty good. Lopez returning from shoulder surgery. Okay. Oh, and then the Spencer Schwellenbach will open in the 60-day IL. Okay. Interesting. So they still have some injuries at the pitching position, but overall, it's like if these guys can stay healthy, it's like gonna be good. Grant Holmes, Bryce Elder. It's a pretty solid line, a pretty solid rotation, I would say. Very top heavy with Chris Sale and Spencer Strider, I think. And if Ronaldo Lopez can, show that the shoulder's good and pitch like he did back in 2024, it'll be pretty good. It'll be pretty good for them. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say, the Braves are going to finish like bottom, whatever, like they did last season. No, they're a better team than that. There's too much talent on this team to say that they're going to finish bottom. And I say they're going to win the East. You got to beat the Mets. You got to beat the Phillies. I don't know, man. That's tough. I think they'll be up there. I think they'll be fighting for it. Whether they're going to win it all comes down to whether or not guys can stay healthy and how good they are coming off those injuries. So, we'll see. We'll see. This lineup's good. I think there's 4, 5, maybe even 6 really good hitters in here. I think the bottom 3 are pretty weak. But overall, it's pretty good. It looks like it could be that comeback year the Braves are looking for. But we will see. We will see. We got the Marlins. Marlins are always bottom tier. They're one of the lowest spenders, and they continue to be one of the lowest spenders in there. But I think they do have some great young talent on this team. They have Xavier Edwards. I think is not the prototypical hitter for today, but he is a contact hitter. He's a contact hitter that I believe he's a switch hitter, if I'm not mistaken, or am I thinking of another guy? Let's say. Either way, it's for eye average. Like looking at his average is like it's 283. Whatever. He does not hit many doubles. He does not hit many triples. I mean, he's got 5 triples, which is bad, but it's like only 3 home runs though, 43 RBIs. Definitely top of the lineup rotation or top of the lineup kind of guy. Probably some decent speed. During his 3rd, 4th season with the Marlins, I think he's pretty good. I think that a lot of people sleep on Xavier Edwards. Jacob Marquis or whatever, the rookie last year, played in 55 games, 209 at bats, 5 homers, 3 triples, 841 OPS. Okay, I can see why you're that high on the thing. Augustin Ramirez, again, another catcher I think is, maybe not the greatest, but I mean, he did hit 21 home runs in 136 games, which is nothing to scoff at. I would say that's pretty good. 113 strikeouts is kind of concerning, though, and only 36 walks. Not a lot of walks. Low average again, but it ends up being exactly average at 700 OPS, so pretty decent. Or whatever. I know Kyle Stowers was the breakout star for the Marlins last season. Is what he played. 117 games and hits 25 homers. 25 homers, but the fact is, like, his OPS ended up being, but he still hit like a 288 average with 368 on OBP and a 544 slugging for a 912 OPS. That's really good. Now, it seems like he missed 50 games almost. Well, 40-something games. And realistically, you'd sit out here or there, so it's like probably missed somewhere around 35, 36-ish games. So it's pretty good. He's I would say he's probably the best hitter on the Marlins. So like that, and they'll see if he can kind of continue that going forward. If Christopher Morel playing first base, man, that guy's just getting thrown in there so wherever he can play, I guess, huh? Like he wasn't really that great with Chicago. He really wasn't that great with Tampa. I guess play somewhere at first base. So pretty bad. Aldo Lopez and shortstop. A lot of people like to look at this Marlins team and just go, it's not that great. And I go, but I think there's a lot of potential here. Not great slugging wise. 15 homers, 77 RBIs. That's pretty good. Overall slugging's not very high. 137 hits, 15 of them. Was that 36 extra base hits? Like that's 98 singles. Why the sluggings is down as much as it is. Okay. I mean, potential's there. Potential is there. That's what I'm gonna say. Forget, how did the Marlins get Owen Casey? But you get Connor Norby over at third base, which I think he played 45 games between Baltimore and Miami. And 88 last year. 8 homers, 34, 311. I mean, not bad. I wouldn't say it's terrible. Second overall pick by Baltimore in 2021. Yeah, that's saying something. That's not nothing. So, hey, that's pretty good. And then Owen Casey, I know was a prospect for the Cubs last year. Now with the Marlins. No, it wasn't the greatest for Casey, but I guess the Cubs were just like, well, we're gonna get, Bregman or whatever. I don't know. Or they were gonna sign Tucker. I don't really know what the Cubs were doing, but it is just it was kind of weird trading away Owen Casey like that. I don't remember exactly what they got back, but I don't know. So there's that. Obviously, the rotation is Sandy Alcantara, Yuri Perez, which I believe those are the two. Obviously, Alcantara, former Cy Young winner. Trying to find that form again, but pretty good. But he really just had that one really good year and 2 pretty meh years after that. Wonder if this is the year that the Marlins will actually trade him. I'd have to believe so, but we'll see. Yuri Perez, I believe, is younger, but has a lot of potential. It's 425 and 20 starts. 95. It's not the greatest, but I would say there's a lot of upside there. Max Meyer, Braxton Garrett, and Chris Paddock as their 5 starters. Okay, I mean, obviously the Marlins are going to make waves. I think they're probably going to finish last or next to last, or probably next to last because the Nationals are in this division too, so you can't count them out. Shit, I don't know. I think that there is, there's some upside to this. This upside to this Marlins team, but I wouldn't say it's going to be crazy. Stowers is going to try and see if he can prove to be that, big outfield bat out, this year again. And you do have some talent on this team, but I still don't imagine it's going to turn out to be much of anything. So, expect Marlins to probably finish near the bottom of the East. But yeah, I don't know. There's not much to say about the Marlins. There's some upside and there's some downside. See if Sandy Alcantara can recover the form. If he can, the Marlins can probably can get a high price for him in the trade deadline. Because Pitching is always a desire from any team that's looking to make a playoff run. So, yeah. On top of that, so yeah, that's all I'm going to say about the Marlins. There's it's really what it comes down to. So next we have the Mets. The Mets are obviously, I think, probably everyone's favorite to win the East. I mean, I don't know. The Mets are an interesting team, if you ask me. So we'll go over that. But obviously you have Francisco Lindor at short, Juan Soto out in left instead of right, which is kind of interesting. I didn't realize that they have him at left field instead of right field. He's always been a right fielder, but whatever. Bo Bichette out in third base, which is a position he's never played before, which is going to be interesting. Jorge Polanco, I remember them reaching a deal with them because they did not want to pay Pete Alonso for some stupid reason. I don't know. They traded for Luis Roberts Jr. Looks like they have him out in center field. Obviously, that makes sense. Brett Beatty at DH. Don't even know why he's here, to be honest with you. Marcus Semien, traded for him. Make the infield a little better. You got probably two of the better gloves with Lindor and Semien in second base. Semien's getting a little older, but he's still Mr. Iron Man. Tries to play all 162 games. Francisco Alvarez behind the plate and Tyrone Taylor out and right. Mm-hmm. Also, I'm just reading here. Apparently, I didn't see this. I was like, but the shortstop underwent surgery on February 11th to repair reaction. Oh yeah, that's right. The weird hamate bone break on Lindor's left hand. I forgot about that. Like the three players that all. And he'll probably still be. Mets are optimistic that Lindor's not going to miss the opener. I'm of the same mindset. I bet he'll be fine. And stuff like that. I mean, I look at this lineup and it's not bad. I think that you're probably a little weak in the outfield outside of Soto. It's like Roberts is an interesting one because he showed signs of greatness, of like really good player when he was with the White Sox a few years. Like 945 OPS back in 2021, 857 in 2023 or whatever, but then pretty average to meh every other year and stuff like that. And maybe that's really all, in essence, like all the Mets are trying to get here is they're trying to have a decent player out there in center field. I would argue you probably could have just had that in Nimmo, but like maybe he can be that star. Maybe he can be that big bat that they need. I don't know. I don't see it. Beatty, I don't even know why he's here, in essence. I think I think the Mets have given up on him. But they just can't trade him because no team wants him, and they can't send him down. So it's like they just need to have him in there for. Anyway, I would put Bichette at DH or whatever and have Beatty play third, but that's just me. I don't know. I look at this lineup and it's like, yeah, I mean, it's not bad. Not great. I think if Jorge Polanco was Pete Alonso, I'd be thinking this team is fucking phenomenal. In essence, I don't know. They're going to win games. They're going to win a lot of games and stuff like that. I think they're probably going to make the playoffs this year. I don't know, man. If they fall apart like they did last year, yeah, Carlos Mendoza is going to be not good. They're hoping that their number 2 prospect will make the team as starting right fielder, this Carson Benj. Interesting. In 3 minors, 106. So between single A, double A, and triple A, he played in 3 teams last year. Oh, okay. He went up 3 levels last year. Good for him. Yeah, it's pretty good numbers when you look at that in double A or whatever in the minors. Overall, it's like, what you gonna do in the majors and stuff like that, and maybe that's, you got to give him some opportunity. I'm all of the mindset of getting him opportunity. I would push Tyrone Taylor out of there, and you have a young rookie that's trying to earn his way into the lineup. Sure, I think maybe if that would be the case, I think this would be a lot better. Alvarez behind the plate, I'm not too convinced that he is that guy, but they don't have anyone else for catcher. Not really, at least. First base is just Jorge Polanco. I'm like, golly, man. Like, don't get me wrong, the guy had a great stretch with the Mariners last year, but I don't know. 138, 26 homers, or no, yeah, 26 homers, 78 RBIs. Yeah, I mean, sure. I don't know. Sure. That's all I'm gonna say about it. I mean, the main thing that was really wrong was the pitching. Obviously, the Mets traded for Freddie Peralta. I love Freddie. Freddie's been my guy. I wish him all the best luck. They already named him as the opening day starter and stuff like that. He's going to be really good for the Mets. That's all I'm gonna say here. Is if the defense does not let him down, he's going to be really good for the Mets. So Noah McLean, Clay Holmes, Sean Manaea, David Peterson, and potential 6 with Kodai Senga. And then they're also like competing with a Johan Tong, I believe his name is, and then Myers, another guy that the Brewers kind of gave up on. So they got some pitching. Will it fall apart like it did last season? Probably not. But I just remember for a while there, David Peterson was their only starter that would ever go more than 6 innings. So it was just like, who? Do I think that the Mets are going to win the East? No, I don't think they will. I think they're going to finish second, maybe third, depending on how good the Braves are. Depends if their pitching falls apart. And the fact is, you don't have Edwin Diaz, and I don't remember who they got in replacement for Edwin. I don't remember. Oh, it was Devin Williams. Me, of course. Didn't particularly go well for the Yankees. So we'll see. I mean, maybe just being out of the Yankees, but I'm like, you're still in New York, and you don't think Mets fans will boo you if you blow up a save or something like that? No, like, look, I love Williams. His airbender, his changeup, next level stuff like that. But man, does he give up hits if he can't locate that thing? I don't know. It's just like you could. It was depressing to watch Devin Williams last year. It's just like head down and everything like that. He's slouched. Just could tell he did not want to be there, and it was like that's just disheartening, or whatever. So I don't know. I was like, I think Williams got something to prove here this year. So maybe that'll motivate him to be a little better. Probably, I would think so, because he did that with the Brewers. Like he got angry at himself when he got overzealous and broke his hand going into a playoff stretch, and ultimately the Brewers kind of needed him at times. So yeah, I mean that's what it is. I still don't think the Mets are going to win the East. I think the Phillies are still the team to beat when it comes to the East, even without Ranger Suarez. We'll get to the Phillies and stuff like that, but I still think their lineup and everything like that, their rotation, still really good. They have one of the best ads or whatever. So I think the Phillies are the one to beat. Braves got to prove to me that they can stay healthy and be that team. The Mets are of the same mindset that they need to prove themselves to be that team. You have sluggers, you have star power, Lindor, Soto, Bichette, and stuff like that. But overall, it's just like I look at this lineup, it's weak. The bottom half is weak and stuff like that. You're gonna have Soto hitting like how many of like his 40 homers he hit? Wasn't it like 25 of them was solo or something like that? Yeah, 43 homers. I think I don't remember. Is that something I can look at? Like how many of them? I don't know. It was just like it was absurd and stuff like that. The fact that no one was getting on base. Like these solo home runs should have been more, or should have been worth more, or felt more, or more swingy and stuff like that. But just no one was getting on base. So I don't know. Maybe some changes out front or whatever. Maybe a bit better dugout mentality and stuff like that. Hopefully they won't have a major collapse like they did last season. And if that happens, I think they could easily win the East, but they got to prove it. You got to prove it. That's what I'm gonna leave it at that. So, and then the Nationals. This is the team I have probably picking to win. To win the least amount of games. They're gonna be probably terrible, with a few bright spots. So obviously, C.J. Abrams was part of the Juan Soto trade. Been pretty decent for the Nationals. In essence, I wouldn't say he's been great, above average, which is good. But it's like, okay, now you need to kick it up if you want to be, that or whatever. But he's still gonna be their starting shortstop. Dylan Cruz, I believe, and just a lot of young guys that either haven't been good or whatever. It's like James Woods was a kind of a breakout. James Wood was a breakout star, and then really fell off toward the end of the year. Like, he still hit 31 homers with 94 RBIs. OPS of 825, but that was at one point like 950. So he really struggled in the second half, because I think he hit like 20 or 25 in the first half of the season in homers. So his strikeout numbers 221. Oof, duh. And almost 600 at bats. I mean, that's not terrible, but it's also like 200. Not great. A lot of upside with him. I think they'll work with him a little bit. Dylan Lyle, Luis Garcia Jr., Ruby Cruz, Brady House, Nunez, and Jacob Young. This is weak. That is a weak lineup for sure. A lot of young guys that weren't very good for them last year, expected to start again. Not a lot going for them. Abrams, Woods not going to carry this team as much. Whatever, they're going to prove. And the rotation's not much better, especially with trading away Mackenzie Gore. But like Cade Cavalli? I don't know how to say his name. That's Savali, is it? I don't know. Started 10 games, 924, 48 innings. Not even 5 innings. 5. That's not even 5 outing. It's not great. Miles Mikolas, the guy who just runs out there. You run out there just to eat up innings and don't really know he's probably gonna give up runs, but whatever. Veteran presence, I guess, for a lot of young pitchers with Jake Irving, Foster Griffin, and Brad Lord. Unlike the Marlins, the Nationals don't really have a ton to look for. Like, they do and don't, because I think that you can look at the development of James Woods and you go, oh, that's great. But when you look at the rest of the team, it's really not anything. With the Marlins, I thought there was a lot of potential upside for a lot of players. Kyle Stowers, obviously, I talked about him a lot. Connor Norby, I think, is a guy that could break out as well. Xavier Edwards has been pretty good for them. I know that the numbers don't necessarily support that, but Augustine Ramirez has been good. Stuff like that. They have a couple of pitchers that you can kind of believe in and stuff like that. The Nationals just don't have that. None of their pitchers are worth kind of believing in essence. Like, not a lot of upside. Just don't know what to say about the Marlins sometimes, man. I just don't know. They need to change up something. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm going to lead the Nationals. So the Phillies, I think I still put the Phillies as the team to beat in the East. Looking at their lineup, they got Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, Alec Bohm over at third base, Brandon Marsh, Adolis Garcia. Forgot he was traded. Was also traded there, or maybe signed there. I don't remember exactly. Bryson Stott at second base, JT Realmuto, who re-signed, and Justin Crawford in center. Who the hell is Justin Crawford? Do I know his name, and should I know this name? No, not particularly. Wow, his minor league numbers are extremely good, so I can see why they have him in the lineup. Holy hell. At least it's like, don't get me wrong, it's like AA, but like international AAA. AAA hits 7 homers, 48, whatever, that's fine. But like, average of 334, 411 OBP, and a 452. Slugging for a 863. That's really good. Ton of doubles. Couple triples. A few home runs. Like stolen base. 46 stolen bases. Speedster. Okay. Dang. Okay. Yeah, I can get on Justin Crawford. There's some tweaks. Means flipping Harper and Schwarber to give them former. Okay. Brandon Marsh against right-handed and right-handed pitching. Upper the right-handed batter. Perhaps Otto Kemp against lefties. Okay. So taking out lefty Brandon Marsh there for Otto Kemp because he struggles against lefties. Yeah. I mean, while I'm still of the mindset that, yes, I do believe that this Phillies team is getting to the point where they might age out to the point where their window's kind of closing, this is still the team to beat in the East in my mind. They've done it for a few years now and have continued to do that. I have no reason to not believe Schwarber's coming off of a great year. Harper, I feel like, from comments from, I don't remember who said it exactly, but he was just like, oh, that he's not an elite player anymore. And then I think that lit a fire under him. And I don't know if that was necessarily the reason for it. And maybe that was just an honest to God, comment that somebody had about Harper. But overall, it's like you still have, I feel like a very underrated shortstop in Trey Turner. Harper's, I think he's going to have a great year this year and stuff like that. He's proven that he can be a first baseman. Schwarber's probably still going to be a menace. Ton of power. Stuff like that. Baum can be a little bit streaky, but still pretty good for the Phillies. Keep that around. Marsh has been pretty good for them. Garcia is looking to kind of have like a good comeback year since winning the World Series with the Rangers. Yeah, he had a pretty down year, but still, I mean, like he fits the mentality of the Phillies. So I think that was a great pickup for them. Stott at second base, maybe a little weak. Rui Muto is maybe not the player he once was, but he's still a really good catcher. And Justin Crawford, looking at his numbers, yeah, I absolutely give that guy a shot, and it looks like they're going to. So good lineup overall. This is a great lineup. I really do think so. Well, I've given some lineups a kind of a top half's pretty good, and while I still agree that the Phillies top half is the best part of it, but I still think the middle part of it is pretty decent and can cause some major stir. So we'll go from there. Main thing has been their pitching. Obviously they lost Ranger Suarez, but they still have Christopher Sanchez, Jesus Luzardo, Aaron Nola, Taijuan Walker, Andrew Painter, and I know Zach Wheeler. Not expected to be ready opening day. He comes back and is really good, though. Oh. Yeah. That's honestly where I think about it. This rotation's really good. Sanchez, Luzardo, Nola, they're big three right there. That's not even including Zach Wheeler, who I think is supposed to be back at some point. It might be late in the year. But if he can come back and be pretty good, maybe they'll have to ramp him up, or maybe just take it as an off year for Wheeler. Kind of feels rough. Maybe you can use him as a bullpen later in the season, playoffs wise. It's going to suck losing your ace like that. He's been one of the most consistent and best pitchers in baseball. But I still think this Phillies team's got it, man. I really do. Like they're good. The window's closing, but they still got a few good years left in them before it's like, all right, it's shut, it's done, type thing. But I don't know. When you got guys like Crawford or whatever coming up that are hungry to prove themselves, yeah, a 6'2" lefty bat. How old's he? Doesn't say. Does it? No, it doesn't say. Interesting though. Anyway, look, great find that Justin Crawford for the Phillies. If he pans out and can be, not expecting, full. What did I say his average was? 334. Yeah, you're not gonna hit 334 in the majors, but if that can be like a 260 to 280, holy moly. Yeah, with great on base stealing, yes, absolutely, 100%. So, yeah, so that is the AL East, AL East, NL East. Like I said, I still think the Phillies are the team to beat. It's going to be a fight between the Braves and the Mets for the second in that. Marlins probably going to finish fourth, and then the Nationals in the garbage, just in the garbage bin. I hate saying that, but it's like, it is true. Like, there's just nothing to like about that team, in all honesty. Like, yeah, James Woods is great, and he's probably still gonna put up big numbers, but beyond that, rough. That's all I'm gonna say. So thank y'all so much for listening and or watching to this other breakdown. We got 2 more divisions to go through: the NL Central and the NL West. I'll probably go the West because I want to save the Central for last, because that has my team in it, my favorite team in it. So thank y'all so much for listening to this, and I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.